Farmington Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to introduce our board members. To my left is Tom Lay. To my right is Ralph Chino. Online is Matthew DeMarco, and Kelly Cochran is absent.
Excused.
Town staff is Ron Brand. Oh, and myself, Tom York, sorry, Chairman. Ron Brand, Director of Development, Paul Ruthven, Zoning Officer, and Elizabeth Klingenberg, our Clerk of the Board. We have two emergency exits, one to your right and one that we came in there. Not that we plan on using them, but you know where they are then, just in case. This meeting will be conducted according to the rules of procedure of the Zoning Board of Appeals adopted on April 27th, 2026. Motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Ralph, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. There was one legal notice for tonight's meeting that was on the Town Hall Bulletin Board, the town's website, and in the Daily Messenger. It was for ZB 206-0501. So, next up, we have two continued public hearings. The first one is ZB 2026-0303, Laura Donaldson, Bridges for Brains Inquiry, 1111 County Road 8, Farmington, New York, 14425. The applicant is requesting a temporary use permit to allow a limited number of supervised outdoor daytime education programs to the public with performances to be provided by people with disabilities. To allow the installation of a concrete floor in the existing pavilion and enable these daytime performances, and to allow for a number of small daytime fundraising events while a final site plan is being prepared for the construction of the proposed day programming center and the proposed wildlife education center buildings. Property's tax map account number is 30.00-1-61.100. Site is located along the east side of County Road 8 between State Route 96 and Ontario Central Railroad crossings. The property is zoned A-80 agricultural. So who was speaking for?
Yeah, good evening. My name is Jake Calabrese. We are going to be helping Laura Donaldson out with this aspect of the temporary use permit. Tonight, we are requesting to be tabled until the July 27th zoning board meeting. And we are doing that because we have submitted our site plan application for the update to the existing conditions plan that we need to have approved by the planning board to then return back to the zoning board to get the temporary use permit approved. We are set on the agenda for the July 1st planning board meeting, and if we don't get approval then, we can then come to the July, I believe it's the 15th or 14th, the following July meeting. And then our hope is to gain approval at one of those planning board meetings and then come back here on July 27th to hopefully get approval for our temporary use permit.
All set?
Yeah, that's it on my end. We're just requesting to be tabled. I guess if you guys have any questions, but right now our application is being reviewed by the town, and they're going over the existing conditions plan, and we hope to hear back from them soon, and then we'll get that hopefully approved either at the July 1st meeting or the following meeting.
staff comments?
Yeah, I prepared a draft resolution for your consideration tonight. The resolution points out how the applicant and the engineers have provided requested documentation for the record. The record shows that the Department of Agriculture, U.S. Department of Agriculture, has a valid license for exhibitor of animal wildlife, as well as the DEC for what they classify dangerous animals. And the rest of it is exactly as Jake said. This is something that's going to be on the planning board agenda next Wednesday, the 1st of July. Where did June go? And it be back before you here on the 27th.
Okay. Any comments from anyone in the room or online? Hearing none, I'd like to have a motion to accept the resolution.
I'll accept the motion.
A motion and second,
I'll second.
and Matt, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. It is continued.
Appreciate it. Have a great night.
Yep, you too. Next up is ZB 2026-0202, and I like to block that with 2026-0203. Can I have a motion to block those two?
I'll make that motion.
Second
I'll second.
by Ralph, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Please state your name and address for the record.
Adrian Moss, 5540 Holtz Road.
Floor is yours.
Right now, I mean, we're just gonna continue until July because I'm still going through seeker with planning board for the structure, and I've downsized the structure with it and doing stuff for what I need to get the plan approved through planning board right now. But I mean, the height and everything's still same, nothing changed.
For the record, ZB 2026-0203 was submitted as 4,320 square feet and has been reduced to 3,600 square feet.
Correct.
Just wanted
The
to.
reason behind that was partly because of planning board's stuff, and then also just the cost being delayed so long. I have a budget, and I just gonna, if I drop it down a little bit, I can stay still in that budget.
My sister's not a monster.
Oh.
She nearly killed me. It was an accident. She
Matt,
was
can you
scared. She
repeat
didn't
that for
mean
a
it. She
second?
didn't mean any of
Thank you. Staff comments.
I have no comments.
Any comments from the room?
I just had one question on.
So I hear nothing from the room. Okay. I'll start with board members. Tom, do you have any comments?
So just to go over, I mean, the size change, we've discussed a little bit, but should bring us back because it's been resubmitted. Are you're setting it up as a shop. Is this something you're gonna work on stuff with friends, with other vehicles?
It's just to keep all my stuff stored indoors.
So it's solely for your use.
Yeah, all my cars and everything and my equipment and stuff that I have.
Are you gonna, I know we've asked this anywhere, are you gonna have a drawing showing elevation on that at some point?
It was submitted with everything back when I first submitted in January. You guys should have had it just like everybody else. The town has it all submitted.
For the new size?
For the new site, for the new.
It's gonna look exactly the same. Well, those rendered, I mean, it's just gonna be 12 foot shorter
12-foot shorter.
lengthwise.
Still stay the same.
Yeah. So it went from 60 by 72 to 60 by 60, so it's just squared.
Like 25 feet.
Still 25-foot peak, because there's 14-foot sidewalls.
And still, I know this is gonna ask, but there's still no other place that it can be placed where it won't be so.
Planning board had 3 options to pick, either my front yard, where the one location is, or behind my house more, but with the slope and the drainage through there and stuff, it wasn't feasible or whatever.
Okay.
So the planning board picked the one location where I wanted it anyways, because it was the flattest part of the land anyways.
And not reducing the width, so the peak is still at the 25, okay, that's what.
Yeah, I mean, my house peaks on my house are all 23 foot from the ground up, basically on all those, so it's not much taller than that. And then now the square footage is even less than what I first put in, so my house square footage is 2,600, so I'm only a little over by 1,000 square feet, so it's not gonna be that much bigger. And planning board would ask for all kinds of screening for the neighbors to not see it and stuff, so.
That's one of the concerns is landscape, how you.
I mean, you're still gonna see it. You can see everybody's barn down through there. I mean, I'm looking at everybody's barn there now. So I'm gonna have screening, but everybody else, I can see theirs plain as day, so, but it is what it is.
Matt, are you able to come online and do you have any questions?
Yeah, just hold for 1 minute. All right, yeah. So, can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So Mr. Bellis, you said we're basically just shortening up the structure and what you're planning to do to reduce it to 3,600 square feet. Is there any reason you didn't make the structure skinnier, which would allow the peak to be something less than 25 feet at the center?
Making it skinnier is not gonna drop the peak on a pole barn.
You had said before
You'd
that.
have to drop the wall height on the sidewalls down farther and not, it would still be, the height would still be the same on the peak.
Yeah, you had mentioned before that when you were asked at a previous meeting about the height being 25 feet, you said the sidewalls are 14 and that tapers up to the peak. So, obviously with a 14-foot sidewall, you're going to have a higher peak. Is there any reason though why making it skinnier wouldn't then lower that peak in some capacity?
Make it
It won't lower the peak.
changed. The reason I'm doing is just if you can tell us why it has to be that.
The 14-foot sidewall height? Just because of the size of the structure, I'm guessing. You know what I mean?
I think he's asking, can the pitch be changed?
Why do you need that tall? That's what we're trying to get.
I have no idea. That's what they engineered for me. I don't know what.
Yeah, so I guess what I'm getting at is
Must be the pit, what they need for roofing on the structure. I mean,
Yeah, no, I don't answer the question.
I have no idea, you know what I mean? But making it longer and narrower, I mean, if I still have a 14-foot sidewall, the peak's still gonna be probably close to 25 foot.
yeah. So my question is basically about you reduce the size of your structure by shortening the length. Obviously, the width is the same, so the distance between the sidewall and the peak is the same if the width is the same. But if you shorten that width instead of shortening the length of the structure, that would therefore make the peak to being something shorter. I'm just wondering if that's something you've explored, because one of the variances here is about the height of the center of the structure.
I did not explore that, no.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's just what I'm getting at. Can you
The only
Can
way
you
I
tell
could
us-
drop the peak was to drop the sidewall down to like a 10-foot, 8-foot sidewall or 10-foot sidewall to be in the 15-foot, and that's too short. The
why?
same thing
So why is 15 feet too short for you?
from the peak down?
Sidewall.
Sidewall?
15.
I have
well, 15
14-foot sidewalls right now.
Yeah. So 15 feet, being that threshold that we're trying to discuss here. Why does it need to be 25 feet tall as opposed to being something shorter? Maybe not 15, but maybe 20 feet tall with 10-foot sidewalls.
So the 10-foot sidewalls is too short
Yeah. So why is it too short?
for the stuff that I need to get in and out and do inside the structure.
What are you putting in that requires the higher walls?
Trailers, trailers, RV, tractors, a boat, so I just rather have the higher doors. It's not just for a car to go in and out. Otherwise you could keep like a 8-foot sidewall, 10-foot sidewall.
Yeah. So I mean, the reason I'm asking is one of our factors that we're considering is whether the benefit being sought can be achieved by a feasible alternative. So, you're looking for 25 feet at the peak. So, that obviously that center door on your drawings is fairly high, can accommodate a pretty significantly tall vehicle.
Right, but I mean, 12-foot doors, I believe they were spec'd out at. I don't have it with me tonight, but.
Yeah. So what is the height of the objects that you're storing that require that? Because when you tell us like I'm putting some trailers in there, I don't know
You're
how
more than
tall
welcome
your
to drive
trailers
by
are.
my house any day you'd like to.
Okay, so everything that's currently being stored outside.
It's, yep.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that.
If it fits.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering how tall things are. I'm assuming you've measured these because you have a very detailed drawing.
Mhm.
So how
I'm
tall
just making
are
sure
the?
that down the road I can get whatever I want to get in there and the doors aren't too small or short.
Yeah, so like right now, what are the heights of the objects of the things that you're planning to put in there?
I have no idea.
You don't know.
At some point
So
in the
what?
future. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Matt.
what are the things down the road that you're thinking about putting in there?
I have no idea at this point.
You don't. Okay, you don't know.
I mean, I've been looking at boats, so I mean, I don't know, if it's got something on top or not, I mean, but I can't answer that today.
Okay, so you don't really know the heights of anything in particular that's going in there right now.
I don't have that information to me.
Okay.
Written as a continuation and not a beat down, so.
No, well, I'd like to comment on that. So this isn't a beatdown. What this is we have to establish why we want this bigger than what the code requires. So we're just asking questions to get you to answer the questions of why it has to be bigger than the code. Not a beatdown, just trying to get information on the record. State, like you said, you had a 16-foot camper or something that needed that door, that would be something on the record.
Measurements are or anything.
That's fair, and that's fine. You can come back and answer his questions. We're just trying to get the record set for these
Yeah.
5 proofs for what you want us to weigh in on at some point in time.
Yeah, I mean we've been here a few times, and the information's been kind of vague, and we just want to make sure that we have.
I'm trying to build.
Exactly.
Keep all my stuff out of the weather, like I've said from day one.
Yeah,
So
we're
it's
just
laying around in my yard, so.
Yeah, I totally understand, but you can
Like I
imagine
said,
from
you guys can drive by, and if nobody's driven by yet, then that's bad on you guys, because I mean, you guys should know what you're looking at and stuff, and not just a map or a picture, so. Drive by
Yeah,
anytime, pull in, I mean, but.
it's been a over a year, I think, since the first application. I'm fairly sure everybody's driven by several times, but I just want to know exactly what, because I'm not going to walk
Not if
onto
you're
your
asking
property.
questions, you'd see everything in my yard, so.
I'm not going to go onto your property and measure things. I'm just trying to gather this information. So if all you want to give us is you don't know, then I suppose you don't know.
I don't have that information today, nobody's asked it until.
Okay,
today.
so
Okay.
we'll move on from that question. Do you have any other ones, Matt?
Again, if you could just summarize, you've summarized very briefly, just generally what's going in here. You said cars. Can you just give us some general terms? How many vehicles? How many trailers? Things like that.
I mean, I have three classic cars right now. I have a loader tractor with a backhoe attachment and stuff. I have my zero turn, my street bike, 2 smaller utility trailers. I have a big RV. I have no idea what the measurements are on that, if it's clearing or not at this point. So that's it. Whatever else I collect or do over time.
Okay. And do you do work on those cars? You mentioned well before your last reapplication that you had lifts and things. So you put your cars
Yeah,
on lifts and do work on them?
Put something in there at some point so I can work on my classic cars, yes.
Yeah, okay.
But it's only for me to do what I want to do and nothing else.
Anything else, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's all I have for now. Thanks.
Okay. Ralph? How much is the scale?
I mean, the way I took it was, yeah, I mean, if I want to be at the 15-foot height, I'd have to have an 8-foot sidewall or something, and you know what I'm saying? So it'd be just like a normal car garage height or something. I don't know, like, but to be to be right at that 15 point or 15 foot peaks height, what the code is, so. But I don't want an 8 foot, I mean, I don't want an 8 foot sidewall or 10, maybe it can't be 10, because I think it's higher than
It would be probably, but
8 to, maybe it's 8 to 10 to get 15 foot, I think it's 5, or I think it's a little less, but. That's not gonna work for what I wanna do inside or anything, and then bigger stuff too, so.
this is for person.
Nope. Only for my stuff to be out of the weather and on my property finally, instead of in 20 different locations.
Yeah, we all have. Anything else, Rob?
Nope.
That's it. Great. The only thing I would add to that is just, I understand where you're coming from, you feeling like it's a beatdown or something. We just,
Oh, it always is.
we have,
I'm used to it.
we have things we have to
On
find.
a year.
Oh, I get that. And we're trying to help that along. And you've been very vague. Now you're being more specific that what we needed. So, good, we needed some of these specific things to weigh. You said you'll have some lifts and stuff in it, but the biggest thing is it's all for yourself and your own personal.
Yeah, so I can work on my old cars myself, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Tinker with them in the winter time to have them ready for showing during the summer, you know?
So you show your cars.
I mean, at this point, we're just waiting for any board to finish whatever they're doing and go from there.
Okay. That said, we have a resolution continuation. I have a motion to accept the resolution. Motion's accepted. Second,
I'll second.
by Tom. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Right, you're continued. Thanks, Adrian. Okay. Next is our new public hearing. I'd like to open it. ZB 2026-0501, Neil Smith at 1589 Meadowbrook Lane, Farmington, New York, 14425. For an area variance for the tax map account 41.12-5-70.000. Allowing relief from the town code requirement, chapter 165, schedule 1. Minimum rear setback is 30 feet. The applicant is proposing a rear setback 22.4 feet, for an open deck addition of 16 feet by 16 feet to be attached to the existing dwelling. Property is zoned R 7.2 Planned Subdivision District. Okay, whoever's going to speak on the behalf, please state your name and address for the record. Name and address for the record.
Dawn and Neil Smith, 1589 Meadowbrook Lane, Farmington, New York. We're, zoning only allows an 8-foot 4-inch deck from the back of the house. And we find that once we get a table out there, maybe a couple chairs, it's circulation around that deck is going to be difficult, very, very tight. I know when my mother comes to visit, she has difficulty walking. That's going to be difficult for her. So we're proposing. Yeah, so we would like to ask for a variance on that to make the deck bigger. So we have more room for the older people in our family. And also, we're in our 60s. We bought this as our final retirement home. So we're kind of planning for the future. So we feel like, someday we may need a walker, and it would be good to have a little bit more room to move around that deck once we get to that point. Hopefully never, but,
I understand.
Another thing is also, it's presented as if it's attached to the house. It's not actually attached to the house. It's gonna be a little gap. It's gonna be freestanding, but almost about in the back door. And as far as the setback goes, I'm not sure if that's because of fire code, but I just want to say that we have extensive sprinklers at the back as well. Okay, of the plan.
I couldn't answer to you why that code was written that way then. I know we have to force it or variances for it now. Anything else?
Also, the materials we're using is gonna be a truck stack, so that's more fire retardant.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
That's it.
Staff comments?
Yeah, the setback is required for that district. It's not written on an individual parcel basis. And what you've got going for yourself with this application is that your rear property line abuts up to agricultural land that's in the ag district and is protected for years to come. So you're not encroaching upon another dwelling in that direction, which is what the 8 foot really is meant to do. It's a ratio of lot coverage that they came up with that dimension years ago. I think that, you know, you've got a nice location there. I just want to caution you that someday they may extend that road to the south. I have no idea how long it's going to take, but I do know there's people interested in doing that. And if they do it, the town code recommendations, rather, in the comprehensive plan, it'll come out to a future street light, a stoplight there in the vicinity of the mid block of that Michigan U-turn on 332 by Cobblestone. So you may see some.
Very development in the recent future that's gonna happen there.
There's always been land for sale. Signs have been up there. I know that somebody will use that opportunity. I'm just letting you know that while you're today a very quiet neighborhood, tomorrow it may be something different. Stay tuned.
Yeah, thanks
Yes,
for
thank
waiting.
you.
Yeah, it's a setback, they're minimizing their rear setback by just 7.8 inches. Not necessarily, not the side setback. So it's a fairly minimal ask, I think, to have a 16 by 16 deck. And yeah, so their application's been in, there's, we put the public sign out. And legal notice posted, neighbors were notified. All good stuff.
Stuff. Here. Let's ask anyone comments from the room or the online. I think we have there, so. Board members' comments.
Is that considered a quarter lot because it's the last one?
No,
It's just a straight lot.
just a straight lot.
It's the last old field in Meadow, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the outside. Okay, I just didn't know because it was the last one from the current thing.
On the opposite side.
Across the street it is.
Yeah, it's on the,
Yeah.
that's what I figured. Let me make sure I got the right one.
Ralph, any questions?
No.
Matt, any questions online?
No, thank you.
I don't have any questions. It's straightforward. So I will close this public hearing. Right. Next is deliberations and decisions.
Sorry, I just want to know, you read, no, with your question.
Oh, you can sit right down.
But walk me through it.
We're moving right to it right now. So. Board deliberations and decisions. One that we have tonight is ZB 2026-0501. I'd like to have a motion to waive the reading of the seeker and submitted by the town staff.
I'm going to waive it and accept it as submitted.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. So next, the deliberations and decisions. Have you guys seen these?
The draft resolution?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
Read them and you understand them?
Yes.
Okay. So can I have a motion to waive the findings and decisions and just read the, well, not the decisions, but deliberations and the.
I will motion.
Second by
I'll second.
Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Zoning Board of Appeals, after reviewing above five proofs, makes the following decision. Benefit to the applicant does outweigh any known detriment to the community or neighborhood, and therefore the requested area variance to erect a 16-foot wide but 16-foot long porch deck and steps addition attached to the rear entrance for the existing dwelling and having a rear setback of 22.4 feet within the rear yard portion of the lot is approved with the following conditions. That the proposed porch deck addition shall be constructed and attached to the rear portion of the existing structure in accordance with an approved building permit be issued by the town code enforcement officer. So on that one, you mentioned up there that you weren't not planning on attaching it to the house.
Not the electrical, no. It's depending on, we're gonna have solar and then
Foundation.
6 foot per 6 posts. With, shade.
And is it at the same level as the doorway coming out?
Yeah, we got a contrast to that.
So can,
It's allowed to be,
Oh, okay.
it's allowed to be freestanding.
so with the language.
Yeah, I would just amend that attached.
Like to amend that. Do I need a motion or just like to amend it and take out attached to the rear portion of the house structure
Okay.
for the record? And you'll have to get your building permit. Okay?
Yes, we did put in for that.
Yep, no, so what I did was I removed attached to the rear portion of the existing structure and have it as freestanding, the same level.
What he's doing is reading you the conditions of of what we're giving you.
Right, and you've read them and understood them. I'm doing it for the record. So anyone online or who may visit this in the future shows that we did our due diligence. So second, the porch deck addition is for an open air structure only. Said addition shall not be enclosed for use as habitable space without obtaining additional area variances. You understand that? Okay. 3, the materials to be used for the porch deck addition are to match to the extent practical the exterior of the existing structure. All site lighting associated with the proposed porch deck addition shall comply with the lighting standards contained in Chapter 165 of the Town Code. All inspections shall be performed and accepted by the Town Code enforcement officials prior to issuance of a certificate of compliance. Okay. I have a roll call votes.
Yes.
I forgot a phone call.
Aye.
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 Matt Marco,
Aye.
Tom York.
Aye. You have your variance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will,
The voters campaign, but let's see the voters campaign, but let's not go over
Yes. Not on full champagne.
we'll send you an invoice. And then once the invoice is paid, Carol will send you the permit.
Okay, the invoice for the variance now?
Nope, the invoice for your permit.
Okay,
Okay,
yes. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay.
I'll be in touch with you, but I'll just send you an email, okay?
Hey, good night. Good night.
You're welcome.
Take care. Did you get the name of the motions on those? I didn't say the names out loud.
I got them. I guess just to be clear, you're gonna say, remove and attach to rear portion of existing structure. Right.
Just removing that part, saying it's gonna be attached to the.
that makes sense.
That put right there, freestanding.
It's made a lot of sense for years now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, other board matters, the only one that I would bring up is the missing name placard. Just
Missing name question.
Yeah,
Matt's name
Matt's
placard.
name, I don't know, I checked the whole box.
I wasn't
Tom,
sure
both
you ever
Tom
got-
checked the entire box. He did.
He did.
It did, okay.
Oh, yeah.
What's missing?
Told you.
at DeMarco's name placard.
We can't find it. Matt, did you take it with you last time?
I swear I didn't.
Maybe he has a secret
He
admirer.
does, maybe, that's probably the case.
I bet you.
So
Beautiful name placards.
public comments, we don't have any public left, do we? We still have someone online, who's the other person online?
Toby,
Okay, so no.
We have Matt on.
comments?
that's just Matt.
Okay. Said two there. Director of Development.
Yeah, we'll be introducing a amendment to chapter 155 recreational vehicles at the town board meeting on Wednesday for a brief public review period. Hopefully, on the first meeting in July, we can set a public hearing and adopt regulations for e-bikes. They're getting kind of out of hand. So, with that, the other thing I'm working on is accessory structures and storage structures, storage units, things of this nature, whether they have wheels on them or not. And we'll be dealing with a sliding scale approach to the size of the quote accessory structure, whether it's a pole barn or a private garage or whatever you want to call it. Hopefully to make things more equal instead of just one size fits all. That's basically it for now. I mean, planning board approved the Fairdale Meadows subdivision, and we plan to get started this year on constructing over there 40 lots. So,
The curved road.
current road in front of
By the
it.
casino.
Across, and where the dealership is going.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forever growing.
Oh. Fire hall will be going next.
All right, Paula, you're up. So what are you laughing? What's the giggles for?
You said forever growing.
She said that.
Oh, I didn't hear that, bro. None of us at this. A code enforcement officer.
We have no new applications for zoning board at this time, for next month, just the continuations. Really have nothing really additional.
All right, we know our next meeting is the 27th of July. Like Ron said, this is just going by too fast.
Yeah.
So,
Needs to warm up.
a motion for adjournment.
Motion.
By Tom, second by Rob, all in favor.
How's Matt's daughter doing?
Matt, how's
She's
your-
good. Yep, she's watching Frozen right now. That's what you're hearing in the background. So,
All right.
yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, I heard it. I was excited.
I was wondering if it was like a brawl going on.
What's that?
It just sounded like a lot of commotion,
Oh, yes.
That was here in this room.
just a little bit. All right.
Good job, Matt.
Yes.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Meeting is
All right. Bye, everyone.